And are there more Democrats becoming Republicans or more Republicans becoming Democrats in North Carolina?
I think, well, from what I've heard, is a lot of people are still registered as Democrat, but they still vote Republican in the main primary. Well, not in the primary, but in the general. That a
Right.
lot of people are afraid to change. Like, there's a lot of older people who probably like, because Democrats back in the old days was more like a Republican now, like a sensible Republican now, and they're just used to having that on the rolls. And the fact that you can search somebody's record, you can see if they're a Republican or Democrat. And I know as a Republican, ever since I've been a registered Republican, it's cost me jobs. Having a Trump sticker or just somebody finding out that I'm an activist or I'm a Republican, I've lost jobs. I cannot get a job in the degrees that I have. I have two master's degrees in IT, and this is an IT heaven, here in North Carolina. But when the HR departments are ran by, radical Trump syndrome, Democrats or whatever, or liberals, they're not going to hire me. They're going to Google search me and go, hell no, and I can't get a job in the field. So I found other ways to make money the way legally, with jobs that I can do. But I know that, you know, running for office is kind of what I'm going to have to do because I'm an activist.
So were you told that was the reason why because of your political beliefs, or what makes you think that?
They won't really tell you that, but I did have one job that I worked there for about 4 days, and on the Friday, and I was driving down the highway, and I couldn't hear very well. The recruiting company called, and I swear that the lady on the phone said that they did not want me back because of my politics. They didn't like my politics. I wish I was recording that at the time. I wish I was recording that at the time, but in fact, they were going to offer me $1,000 settlement to, drop because they knew what they did wrong. I had to wait a year through because of our unemployment process here, which is really messed up. Um, I had to wait a year through so-called litigation and back and forth because of COVID and all that for them to come back and say, yes, you could sue the company who let you go. Problem is, they only gave me 30 days to find a lawyer, and then it's impossible to find an employment lawyer that will actually stick by you. And, I could have had a lawsuit if I had the right money, money and lawsuit. The system's not set up properly for that. So really, that's another problem. That's when I say education infrastructure, jobs here in North Carolina. Our unemployment agency really has some issues. It was the worst in the nation getting relief to people who were unemployed. A lot of people, they're coming back and say they overpaid them, trying to get money out of turnips, blood out of turnips because people don't have the money. You had here in North Carolina and other states where people got their rent paid for, and because of the rush, now they're trying to come back and say, "Oh, we overpaid. Give us money." There's an individual here. Her husband, who was retired, who was 80 years old, found out that they were getting paid too much pension and $200,000 over the years more, and then all of a sudden they requested it and gave him nothing. The guy went back to work for 2 more years and died, and got left with barely got the funeral paid. The state's made problems, made mistakes. I feel like they should eat those mistakes when they do that. You overpay people over years. You can't sit there and think that we're got the money to pay it back. It's the same thing. I argue with people about school loans. A lot of Republicans think, oh, well, you got the bill, you need to pay the bill. But I tell people, you need to understand that things are different than when you were paying your bill when you went to college. Like my parents are just one generation, behind us. You went to school, you went to college, you got a great job, you stayed there for probably life, you retired, you got your gold watch, you got a retirement. That doesn't happen no more. Look at how many times the streaming softwares are always changing hands back and forth. Companies are switching hands, I've seen jokes where it says, what's the name of our company today? Where I'm working for. There's no
Right.
loyalty to the employers to the employee. And then I found out that millennials have actually stepped in on that, and they don't have no loyalty to the companies, so they're hopping around. Our whole system is whack. It doesn't help that we also have an influx of individuals trying to seek asylum, in our country, coming over here trying to get the jobs that we don't already have. Meanwhile, you've got other countries, taking jobs. We're in a bad mess. America is in a bad mess. And like Donald Trump said, it would be okay if we were trillions of dollars in debt, if the streets were lined in gold and everything was brand new and it was just like going to Dubai and some of these other places he's went to. But literally, people fly here from other countries. They go to Washington, D.C. They see graffiti and trash and homeless people and a mess, a road that's, infrastructure is crap in our nation's capital. And they're like, what the hell's going on? And then, the vultures all over the world are swooping in on America. So it's time that we need to start putting our country first. We're worried about other places, Ukraine. We're worried about, I love Israel. That's a good place too. But we gotta be careful how much we spend there as well. But we should protect them. We've got to figure out something. At least I know with Israel that we're getting some mutual things back. Ukraine, I don't know. You got the leader over there who's probably buying his next yacht. How does this guy end up in award shows and everything? Where's the ticket? Where's the receipts? Because we're supposed to be fighting Russia. But at the end of the day, we're getting weaker. We're sending our troops over there, our military supplies, our surplus. And meanwhile, our country's getting weaker while we're trying to build up another country. That's not going to work. That doesn't help. We need to start taking care of ourselves. It's the analogy of you're in an airplane and the airplane's going down and the oxygen mask drops. You're supposed to put it on your face first before you help anybody else. And we're not doing that. We're running around the plane gasping for air trying to put masks on everybody else and forgetting about breathing ourselves. We're going to be the ones dead and everybody else is going to be trampling on our grave to get off the plane.